How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another one bar building Gedonia. Today we're going to be using the Dark Assassin armor set. Let's dive in and check out this armor. Dark Assassin set, it really does look like a Dark Assassin. I really love the boots, gloves and shoulders. They really tie all the armor in together. Even that bit of armor on the chest plate looks really cool. Of course, the dark hood, just you've got that Dark Assassin. Anyway, guys, let's check out the armor stat bonuses. With 2 pieces of armor equipped, Dance of Shadows removes the cooldown of Vanish. And if we have all 5 pieces of armor, backstabbing can give us invincibility for 6 seconds every 15 seconds, which is really good. Now we'll check out the actual stats. So it is a leather, you get an alright boost to armor, you get a pretty good boost to critical strike chance, good boost to health, a little bit to stamina, a decent amount to melee damage, get a little bit of movement speed, which isn't bad at all. Always good to have more movement speed. A hefty boost to attack and cast speed is good, and also a massive boost to crit damage multiplier. So the more damage your crits will do. Now moving on to the accessories, starting off with the cloak. I chose the Cloak of Shadow. So this increases the damage of our poisons, and you can find this randomly in the Gedonia dig sites, the expeditions, pretty much endgame of Gedonia. Random drop in the chests where the dig sites are. You'll get a 7% critical strike chance. This armor with this cloak, 100 points to health, 250% melee damage, and another 40% to critical damage multiplier. So our crits will be doing a lot of damage. And for the other accessories, I chose 2 types of accessories. So first off, we have the Serpent Vows. When you have 2 pieces of the Serpent Vow, all your poison damage will deal more damage. And I've just got the Trinket and Amulet, so it'll give you about 80% more melee damage each, 80% more range damage each, and 20% the crit damage multiplier each. Again with that crit damage multiplier. The other accessories I chose are the Gambler's set. So we have 2 rings equipped. Once we have the 2 rings, enemy's death can grant effect that increases our crit multiplier by 100%. Build is just crits. That's what you've got to really focus on. With both rings equipped, we get an additional 30% more critical strike chance and another 30% to crit damage multiplier, which is going to be huge. But let's move on to the living weapons. So the living weapons I chose are the Dagger of Heart and Blood, stage 3, and also the Dagger of Madness, stage 3. The Dagger of Heart and Blood, each attack gives a stackable damage increasing buff. If Blood Demon form is active, increases the duration by 1 second per stack. Every attack has a chance to spawn Bloody Spike Strike on an enemy around you. Bloody Spike explodes after striking. Now this is a dagger. We are going to dual wield daggers. Knockback power is weak, does 80 damage, it's very fast, increases our jump height by 5%, also our blood healing by 2%, and increases our movement speed by 0.15. Now the Dagger of Madness, each attack applies a confusion effect to the target, which makes it not attack you with 33% chance. Has a chance to spawn an illusion that the enemy will attack instead of you, and also has a chance to apply devastating mind attack that deals 500% more damage. This is another dagger, knockback power is weak, does 80 damage just like the last one, very fast speed, gives us another 3% of critical strike chance, plus 50 to stamina, and also 10% boost to crit damage multiplier. Alright, let's check out the skills. First up in ferocity, we have Rage. So every time we hit an enemy with a melee attack, it increases our damage by 0.5%. Every time we hit with a one-handed weapon, with our daggers, it'll be really quick. Also, we have Angry Strike. We'll throw our daggers, dealing 200% damage and applying poisons once we hit 80 rage. Then we have the mastery skill Killing Frenzy, which doubles the rage generation. With every stack of rage, increases our attack speed as well. Next up, we have melee damage level 5, which increases our melee damage by 70%. Then we have one-handed weapons level 2, which increases the damage of our one-handed weapons by 21%, the attack speed by 15%, and the crit chance by 3%. Next up in combat mastery, we have throw weapon level 4, But when the chain's thrown into the ground or onto a wall, any kind of environment, it'll pull the player towards the destination. So this is just a utility move that I just picked out just to get around a lot easier. Then we have Ren level 4, which gives us a 20% chance to cause bleeding to an enemy with every attack. That will deal 20% damage every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. Then we have Piercing Strikes level 2. So we have a 33% chance to apply Piercing Strikes to a target, which will decrease their armor by 1%. So we'll be doing 1% more damage every stack we apply to them. And level 2 will just apply the trauma effect, which reduces their movement speed and attack speed by 20% for 15 seconds. Then we have Fencing level 4, which is just our combo, and the final attack of our combo will deal additional armor piercing effects with 100% chance success. Next up, in Blood Magic, we have Mark of Blood level 2. This will drain 10% of our health and assign the Mark of Blood to our target, which will slowly deal damage and increase the chance of bloody attacks, triggering by 15%. And while we are attacking this target, it will take increased damage as well. Next up, we have Mad Attacks, which performs a series of quick attacks dealing 30% more damage per hit. Which performs a series of quick attacks dealing 30% of damage per hit, increasing chances of bloody attacks, triggering by 15%. Then we have Hemorrhage level 2, which drains 15% of our health and deals 20% of max health in damage to nearby enemies. And it also refreshes the marks of blood we apply. Then we have Bloody Attacks level 3. Each attack, we have a basic 10% chance to restore 8% of our health, and this can't occur more than 20 times per minute. Hunger for Blood will increase our attack and movement speed by 5% for every enemy near the player, and Blood Frenzy increases the chances of bloody attacks triggering by 20%. Next up, in Banditry, we have Multi-Stab level 3. So while we're using daggers, we have a 75% chance to perform 2 hits instead of 1 while stabbing the target. Then we have Glancing Blows level 2. So we'll have a 10% chance to evade incoming attacks. And the more agility that we have, the more effective Glancing Blows will have. And level 2 Glancing Blows, it'll never kill us whenever the enemy lands a Glancing Blow on us. Then we have Apply Poison, which increases the damage of our poisons and the chance, and also the mastery skill Toxic Fumes. With any poison applied, has a chance to apply to enemies around the target as well, so a bit of an AoE poison move. Next up, we have Vanish, which is our in-combat stealth. It instantly vanishes into stealth, even in combat. Every point of agility reduces the cooldown by 20 seconds. Has a 20% chance of failing, but every point of agility reduces this chance by 10%. Next up, we have Shadow Dance. Steps into the shadow and deals damage to all enemies nearby. Requires 2 daggers. That's why we chose 2 daggers for this build. It's our AoE move, sort of like Whirlwind for a warrior. Then we have Stealth level 3. So this will just put us in stealth, increasing our movement speed in stealth, and also agility stat decreases the chance of being spotted. So we want to start off combat in stealth so we can get the crits up. And Backstabbing, our first attack from stealth, will have a 150% increased damage, and daggers have a 350 increased damage, and one-handed maces stun the target for 5 seconds. Since we have the daggers, the whopping 350% more damage is huge. Then the mastery skill Shadow Step. If we use attack and jump, we will teleport behind the target. So this will be very good to get around the battlefield. Go into each target, you can vanish, jump, attack, and then appear behind them and hit them for a massive amount of damage. Then we have Backstabbing Shadow. So after we use Shadow Step, we can use our backstab 1 time per 10 seconds, even if we're not in stealth. Then in talents, we have 5 points in health bonus, which increases our health by 500. 5 points in stamina bonus, which increases our stamina by 375. Our melee damage bonus, we have 5 points in that to increase our melee damage by 250%. Also 5 points in defense bonus, which increases our armor and magic resist by 5%. And 5 points in speed bonus, which increases our attack speed by 15% and our movement speed by 1.25. Alright, let's check out these frost trolls and see what we can do to them. Okay, so now that we've reached the frost troll encampment, time to go into stealth, and we'll just get this guy. 38k. So we are just going to try and get behind these guys. So you can just run around and get behind them because you'll do more damage. Try and get behind them. Use a... There we go. They sort of know where we are. And just try and get behind them. As much damage as we can. The old shadow step. You can just see the crits are just going crazy. I don't have any poisons applied as well, so if you do make one of these builds, your cloak and serpent vow accessories are gonna be doing a lot more damage with all of the poisons. Oh, so we can just vanish since they've seen us. Get in there, try and do as much damage as we can. Use shadow dance. Just as long as we sort of can get behind them, we should be fine. Even mad attacks just decimates them. Use hemorrhage. We'll be doing a lot of damage with that. Bit of an AoE. Refresh all of the marks of blood. You can just see the crits just going crazy. That is them done. $50k crit. Oh, that was dirty. That was, yeah, that was really strong. Just see, it's just crit monster. At this one, we can just go in, get in there, use your shadow step, mark of blood, use a hemorrhage, and then we can use vanish, do a bit of crit there, keep up pressure. Run over this guy, use mad attacks. Get all of our health back. Oh, there we go. Gotcha. So you will be doing a lot of chain stuns too. It is pretty crazy how much amount of crits that you can do and how much damage it does as well. A little bit messy, but I'm not really a stealth player. And then yeah, you've got your... There's no collision there, sorry. Yeah, but you've got your chain that you can pull enemies towards you if you want, or you'll get pulled towards them. So just bye-bye. Just the bleed attacks going crazy. And you're done. Do not mess around with the Dark Assassin. The Dark Assassin definitely rips through enemies with the high amount of crit damage and crits, 75% chance to crit. You will decimate your enemies, especially when you have poison applied to both weapons, to both daggers. Dots that you'll do will just be out of this world. What do you guys think? Alright guys, that's going to do it from me. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for your support over the last 3 years. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Alright guys, take care.